Well, a big thing is, putting a show together. There's some promoters who don't give a shit. There's some that do. But like the other night with FYF Booking, who I produce and manage the events done by FYF in Jacksonville, we had Blacktop Mojo, great fucking rock and roll, kick-ass rock and roll band. They needed 3 openers because they're touring by themselves, which is cool because a lot of bands will have like their openers, and some bands are kind of assholes about openers. Some agents are assholes about it.
Totally.
It's kind of a weird thing that we run into these days.
Totally.
Openers have to be approved by management, and it's kind of like, I get that in a sense, but at the same time, when you're dealing with someone reputable, just sit back and let the promoter do their job, just like I'm letting you do your job with booking. Luckily in Jacksonville, we have bands that fit the bill, like-minded people. They don't sound the same per se, but they're under the same umbrella.
Yeah, totally.
But Calford Town Band
crushed it.
Amazing.
By the way,
Holy
shout
shit,
out.
probably the best I've seen them. Actually, Annie Dukes also best I've seen them, but I've only seen them twice. This is my second time seeing them.
I missed them, unfortunately.
Just oh my god, they're fucking amazing. They are amazing.
I heard it was a great set. Yeah,
absolutely. And then Danger Bird, holy shit.
Oh yeah,
like this whole show from start to finish was fucking amazing. Like I was so proud because I put those bands together with Blacktop, and Blacktop was saying how it was the best show that they've had consistently overall from start to finish. They were like, we play with some great bands, but then one of the bands isn't so hot. They were like, this lineup with bands was amazing through and through. And what's cool is we had the opportunity to get a couple of the bands on the Orlando show tonight because some things happened with the locals there where they had to drop off last minute. It's cool because now 2 of the 3 great bands are playing in Orlando tonight. And I'm scrolling through the interwebs today and I see Blacktop Mojo tagging the bands that they're playing with because they're stoked because they just fucking watched them the other night and they all became friends and they're tagging Annie Dukes and they're in pictures with Annie Dukes and commenting, and Blacktop is doing really well right now. They're playing a lot of the festival circuits and they're kicking ass. They're a great band. They work their asses off. They've been doing it for a while. It's cool because they're a band that could help other bands out, and that's how it works. A little detail coming back to that is that I was able to put together this lineup, which in turn is helping the bands because they're playing for like-minded fans. Blacktop fans saw them, and now they're like, I'm buying this fucking band shirt and I'm going to listen to them as soon as I get home because holy shit. And then the band is reaching out and liking the bands, that creates, movement.
Social media stuff, the cross-platforming is a big thing too.
It does. It's such a huge thing. So now, it gives bands credibility because it's really hard, as you guys know, when you're trying really hard, it's really hard to get noticed by people you need to get noticed by. But people who are already there being noticed can very easily make phone calls, can talk about people, can get their fans going, hey, check out this band. You're probably going to like them. If you like us, you're going to like them. You like us, so you trust our opinion. We have a bigger scope than what these other bands do. That's one thing, and I take pride in that.
It's definitely an art to putting together like a cohesive show.
Right, and it's not always easy, and you can't always do that, of course. And it doesn't necessarily have to even be like-minded bands, though. Sometimes bands just fit together, even if they're not quite the same, and that's okay. That's awesome. That's what's great about music. It's funny because a lot of people don't realize, my spectrum of taste. I'm a metalhead through and through, but man, like I love everything. Like I love pop music. I love pop country. Sometimes you don't always make money and you're trying to help the band out and you're making sure the band gets taken care of before you do. That happens also, and it is what it is.
At the bare minimum, which is what should be expected, is just honor the deal, which means if you're losing money, then that sucks, but you're losing money. And I've been on the end of it where you skip the middleman and your band ends up being the promoter for the show. I guarantee a band money or I guarantee them a certain split and it means that money comes out of my pocket, then that's just what it is. You can ask the guys, especially earlier on in the band, we were guaranteeing rates for shows and stuff like that.
Mean?
Like with you and
when you used to pay me?
Well, let's we can rephrase that a little bit.
No,
when I
we
would
can't.
guarantee you,
I mean, that's it.
When when you get guaranteed a certain amount of money per show,
I'm
and
still
then
guaranteed the same amount, which is 0.
that's not true. But even if the band collectively was in a deficit that weekend, or whatever it was, you still got the money that you were promised. And I think that's like a very important thing to establish credibility. If you lose money and you're like, well, sorry, man, I know the deal was this, but we didn't make any money. It's like, well, that's not really my fault, is it? I showed up and did the show. I helped to promote the event, did whatever I could. And if it didn't work, then I still got to deal has to be honored. You know what I mean?
Deal always has to be honored. Now you could talk about things.
Yeah, totally.
You can say, hey, listen, and if everybody wants to adjust, that's cool, but nobody has to adjust. It is what it is. You fucking don't make a deal if you can't stick by it. And that's a simple fucking keep your word shit. And I guess a lot of people don't always do that, but don't offer a guarantee that you don't have. Don't do it. Just don't do it. There's times where bands that I absolutely love would ask for just money that I'm like, we're not going to make that money. I can't book that show.
Yeah.
I want to book you guys. I would love to book you guys, but I'm not doing that much money.